Welcome to the Passionpreneur Podcast. This is your host, Ryan C. Greene. This is the show where we teach you how to make a living doing what you love and how to get paid for what you know by building passion-driven revenue streams. You can follow me on all social media at Raji Speaks. If you're an entrepreneur, a leader in your field, a dreamer who needs help putting it all together, or maybe you just simply aspire to be more in life than you've been, then this is the show for you. If you haven't done so already, make sure you click the follow and subscribe buttons or whatever podcast player you're listening to us on right now. We're on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, you name it. Follow us, leave a comment, share the episode with your friends, and don't keep all this information to yourself. Help your circle grow with you instead of you just growing and leaving them all behind. They talking bad about you. So I want to thank you for listening to today's show, and just for listening to today's show. I do have a special offer if you haven't already gotten your copy of the book, Becoming a Passionpreneur, and you're ready to start your journey. I want you to get a copy of the book. I have a special offer available for you. You can get the entire book that teaches all the secrets and the methodology to how to reignite your fire within and start getting paid for what you know and building those passion-driven revenue streams. You can get that book. You can go to www.passionpreneurbook.com. Go to www.passionpreneurbook.com, and you'll see the information on how to get a copy of the book, what the book is all about, and there's some extra bonuses and freebies and giveaways for those who go and purchase a copy of the book. So make sure you take advantage of that. I want to definitely make sure that you get this information in your hand and we can start helping you become a passionpreneur. All right, so let's get into today's show. Today, we're going to talk about networking. We're talking about someone who is doing some phenomenal things in her area. I want to bring on with the Power Up Summit, Miss Kearn Cherry. Kearn, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Awesome. It's great to have you here. So I want you to go ahead and take a second, introduce yourself to our listeners, tell them who you are.
Well, I'm Kearn Cherry from Biloxi, Mississippi. Born and raised here, but I have been other places. I'm a speaker, uh, author, entrepreneur, um, conference developer. I've been doing conferences for a long time. I've been in the healthcare field for over 30 years, business owner for over 23 years. Um, so that's kind of me, a mother of three, married 34 years this year. So kind of me in a nutshell.
All right, wonderful. Now, you are doing some great things, and as a speaker and a writer, you talk about turning networks into major collaborations. So I think networking is something that is so important, so vital, especially in the industry we find ourselves in, where there's so many people who are doing similar things, so many people who are offering solutions to problems. How did you find yourself in the networking space where that was something that you wanted to help people figure out how to do?
Well, first of all, I really don't think anybody should be lacking on in the networking side of things. I think if you're trying to build a brand or connect to other people, if you're trying to move up on your job, no matter what you're doing, you should be connecting to others. It's a very powerful way to get people on your side and in your corner who can speak for you even when you're not in the room. And so I'm a kind of person that's a natural giver, so to speak. So a lot of times when I'm connecting with people, I'm typically making the first move to send a referral or connect somebody to another person. It actually makes it easier when you work in the room to actually introduce other people to, different people to each other and stuff. So I think I think it's a real must. I think the sooner you learn to do it, the faster you'll find yourself opening doors that you didn't even know were there. So I think that's really critical.
Awesome. And I'll speak for myself and all the other introverts who are out there who struggle with going up to people and talking to them and meeting them. What are some ways, or what do you see as the best ways to really break that ice, or go in and really go and do that networking, or trying to meet people when you know you want to, but you don't necessarily know how to? So what are some ways you can help our listeners who want to step their networking game up?
So one of the things I would suggest anybody to do prior to arriving at at a meeting. With social media now, you can find a lot of events online. Whether it's a chamber meeting or a gala or whatever. So a lot of times you can find they'll have their guest list published. And so one of the things I tell people is try to figure out who you would like to connect. So that gives you a goal when you walk in the room. The other thing is, kind of just like anything else, you want to rehearse your plan. If you're in your car with your, a lot of women, we like to go to places together. So if you're in the car traveling with your friend, get a game plan before you walk in the room. Because the one thing you don't want to do is leave with the same contacts you already have. So when you come in the room, if you're with a friend, I recommend that you, come in and go in different directions. And if you start together, please don't spend the whole evening together. You want to have 3 to 5 people in mind. And if you don't have people on the list that it's actually even better because what you want to do is kind of walk up and, just kind of, I know it's kind of hard for some people to do because, hey, for me, I'm naturally, most people don't realize that, but I was always an introvert growing up. And I've learned to just push myself to step out. So I would say, sit at a table with people you don't know. It pushes you, it stretches you beyond what's comfortable, And if there's 2 of you sitting at the table, one of you sit on one side and one sit on the other side. It forces you to have conversations with people that you don't necessarily know. And if you're really uncomfortable, sit at a table where there might be a couple of people and then the rest of them you don't know. That way they can introduce you to the other people. So just, keep that in mind. And then also, I always tell people, let them talk. People like to talk. So, with an introvert, a lot of them are listening anyway. So this is one thing they can do well is listen. While you're listening, listen to some key things that they may be involved in. They have something going on at work. They may be, looking at a different, somewhere they're going. That way it gives you a conversation to kind of open up the door to start talking to them. So even if they're not talking to you, if you're listening to the conversation, you can actually kind of come back around and create your own conversation from it. Right. So listening is probably one of the things that most people don't do well. It's why, people forget God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen more than we talk.
Right.
So use that.
Very good information there. Now, also another question I get a lot is, when you're going into networking, what should the purpose of networking be? If you're going to a networking event, I know, I've been to all kinds of networking, quote unquote, happy hours, and all there really are is parties at the bar. It's not a whole lot of real networking opportunity if you're not just trying to go, like you said, just talk to a bunch of people in the club. The music's so loud, you don't really have that opportunity. So if you're looking for a networking, if that's your goal, what should be the purpose of it? What should you walk away with after you've networked with someone?
So you're not asking for the right place to network. You're saying what should the game?
What should I do? If I'm walking in, I don't, if I'm walking out with 15 business cards in my pocket, is that what the purpose is, or what should they be qualified? Like, why am I meeting all these people? What should I be trying to do?
Okay. So you got to get away from just collecting business cards. So when you're talking to people, again, you want to listen to them, get them to talking outside of their, just the standard work. Because people really, when they come to a networking event, most of the time they're not looking to talk about work. They're looking, if they got kids or things like that. And I can tell you a tip to gathering some of this information. If it's people that you have researched before you got in the room, you can go on their Facebook page and you can actually look and see, well, they got kids, they play baseball or something like that. Those are little strategies you can use. But when you do collect those cards, make sure that you find out something that you can follow up with. So um, maybe they're going somewhere next week, and you might send an email saying, "Hey, I hope to get a chance to also attend the event. If I don't, have a great time, and let's see if we can maybe connect in the next following week or two." So you want to keep one of the weakest points in networking that a lot of people have, and I can say I'm guilty as well sometimes, which is following up with people. And it doesn't have to be a long conversation because you don't really know the people, so you don't want to seem like you're trying to build something that isn't there. You want to kind of just crack the door. And the other thing is, when you're listening to them, in the back of your head, try to think of ways that you can help them. So it's always better to give versus receiving. So, say for instance, they may say, "I'm looking for another job." Okay, so you want to prod that a little bit and say, "So what's your field? What's your interest? Are you trying to stay in the same field? Blah blah blah." And if they say it, then maybe some of your contacts might be a good referral for them. So you got to think about how you can help the other person first when you reach out to them versus always thinking about how you can benefit from it. So, and that's a real important thing when you're connecting to other people because your goal is to build relationships. Most people don't want to be sold to because they're typically buying the person that's in front of them. And if they feel like you're just there to sell them something, you kind of close that door pretty quick.
Yeah, I think that part speaks so much. You're talking about you're there to build relationships, and I think that you're so right. I can't tell you how many times that I've met people and it just turns into they want to sell you something or they want to. It's a transactional experience as opposed to
Right.
relational, and yeah, you're right about that. So I want to talk.
Right.
You have a big event that you're working on, the Power Up Summit. Let's talk about the Power Up Summit, what that is, and what people can look forward to with that.
So the Power Up Summit, which is May the 29th through the 31st in New Orleans, Louisiana, the goal of that conference is to bring speakers, coaches, entrepreneurs, people that plan conferences, people that are trying to transition in their career, or people that are business owners that are thinking about, what can I do different in my business? And one of my friends always, she made the statement, if you're a business owner, you should be speaking, and I always say if you're speaking, you should be coaching. So it's kind of a way to introduce people to creating multiple streams of revenue because a lot of people are just they're doing one or the other. They're either a business owner and that's all they do, and a lot of times inside their business they don't even create multiple streams of revenue. Speaker, but they're not coaching, or maybe they haven't created a book, or they hadn't, thought about maybe doing a magazine or something. There are many things that you can do in the industry that will create another way of making money. And so, and then the other part is, how do you pitch yourself? We have somebody that's a pitch master, Precious Williams, who's coming in to talk about pitching yourself or pitching your business or your sponsorship. We have some other, Sam Perry, who's coming in to talk about how to land corporate speaking jobs, because most people get into speaking and they forget, you got to land jobs that pay. And so there's a way to do that, and corporations do pay. So those type of things, and building up your image as well, just different things that types of subjects that we're going to go over. And of course, it wouldn't be complete if we didn't have somebody talking about just balance, taking care of yourself as well. So, so we're going to cover a gambit of things while also being able to be in a town that's known for creating an environment of networking and connecting with other people. New Orleans is always that kind of town you get to enjoy the evening, hanging out and connecting with other conference stores as well.
Awesome. And I want to let listeners to know, I mean, you are practicing what you preaching as far as networking and collaborating, because you also have been a
Mm.
part of the book collaboration, Trailblazers Who Lead, right? So talk to us
Yep.
about that process, and why you felt like this was one of the best ways to go with you. And I've done several book collaborations, so I know the power of them. But I'd like to hear you talk to us about what that was, why that was a route you decided to take, and what the benefits were.
So, so as the visionary author behind that particular book, I the reason why, and I'm not and let me just make this clear, I am not a writer or a journalist or anything like that. I've learned that it's a part of if you're in the industry or in general, most people have a story or two or even more that they should share with other people. You never know who you're going to empower, who you're going to enlighten, and it's just an opportunity really to put yourself out there and create your own platform. So I found with my other conference, Success Women's Conference, that a lot of women they're just not doing a whole lot of things. So I decided this was an opportunity to create an opportunity for people to put their story out there. And then from there, they can build their own speaking platform. Because when you write a chapter in a book, you're telling part of your story.
Right.
And so from there, you can go around speaking at other engagements and sharing that story as well. Not only are you sharing the book, but you're also creating an opportunity to speak or be called to. So I really wanted to do that. There are a lot of people who are trailblazing in silence. So I found with talking to a lot of these ladies that they're doing amazing things and nobody knows about it except for their family and friends. And I'm like, this is the perfect time to share those unsung trailblazers, people who are really just doing phenomenal things in their community. Some people are doing things on a national level, but you don't know it because they're doing it more in silence. And I'm like, it's time to share.
Mm-hmm.
Let other people know. You never know who's looking for what you have. So it's been rewarding in that sense in helping these ladies to put themselves out there. And most of them, most of them are introverts. And just looking at them, I'm like, okay, so it's a great opportunity to get them to share.
Awesome. Yeah. And that's so powerful because, like you said, if you're out there, if you have a story to share, whether you decide you want to do it through speaking, coaching, life, whatever it is, if you want to position yourself as an expert in something, having a published work is one of the best ways to do it. And one of the easiest ways to start that journey is to do a compilation. I mean, do it. Be a part of a book like that where you don't have to write the whole book. You can start with a chapter, and now you have a published book. You have a piece of work that you can go ahead and put your name behind. So that's very powerful. I definitely agree with that method and that road for those who are looking to do that. I want to make sure before we go that you get give the website to the Power Up Summit, because I don't think you gave that out when you were describing what to expect.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that, and I also want to talk about my Success Women's Conference as
Go right
well,
ahead.
which
Go right ahead.
we have 1,000 people at that conference as well. So, but the Power Up Summit website is powerupsummit.com. Powerupsummit.com. And then Success Women's Conference, which is in its sixth year. Last year we had Dr. Iyanla Vanzant, Lori Mayfield Banks, and we've had Robin Roberts and Lisa Nichols and
Oh, wow.
so many other people speaking at that conference. But that conference is successconference.info. Successconference.info. And it's really powerful. That was in Biloxi, Mississippi. We had over 25 states represented last year at that conference as well.
Phenomenal. That's a great work. I want you to go ahead and give any final closing remarks to our listeners, and also any contact information you want to share, or any last things you want to say.
So, as far as networking, I want to remind people that, if you're trying to build collaborations, it's all about relationships. So people connect to others, and they're able to do projects together when there's a trust built there. And that's typically once you build a relationship. So you want to get out and network, even use the internet to connect to other people. You'll be surprised how small the world is shrunk down because of the internet. And from that, you can really create some major collaborations. I was able to do that with Success Women's Conference as well. And even with the conference I'm doing in New Orleans. I'm not from New Orleans, but I find that if you reach out and you use some of your relationships, it's, you can build anything from a great relationship. So don't be afraid to step out and try something new. I always tell people to never get up, never give up. And if you find yourself to where some door isn't open, through your networking system, then find another door. If that door doesn't open, go around back, try something different, or kick the door down. But don't ever give up on your passion or your dream. And just keep in mind, if you want success, you got to take it. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to be willing to go out and take it. So,
awesome. That's phenomenal. Definitely hope people will take advantage of getting in touch with you, following what you do, going to the Power Up Summit, or even the Success Women's Conference. Those are two phenomenal events. I want to thank you for joining us today and sharing your wisdom with our listeners.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you having
me. No problem. Thank you. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Passionpreneur Podcast. If you liked it, tell someone else about it. Go ahead and share it out. And also make sure you click that subscribe button and follow us and listen to every week's episode. I am your host, Ryan C. Greene. You can reach me at www.ryancgreene.com. Follow me on all social media at Raji Speaks. I look forward to working with you, talking to you soon. And just remember, if the best part about going to work is getting off of work, it's time to become a passionpreneur.